Welcome to
Hi, Tzili.
another program of Tzuzamen. Hi, Tzipi.
Hi, Benot.
Hi, Elinor Milchan, artist. Hi, Ronit. Oh, פתאום,
מה זה
all of a
איירונית?
sudden, all of a
איירונית.
Sorry
איירונית,
about
like
that.
Iron Woman.
sudden, she is an Iron Woman. Hi, Ronit Muszkatblit, director. This is the beginning. Now we can start to pile up all your activities and collaborations. So tell us a little bit, how did you get together and what did you create together?
I only want to start with,
Yes.
I'm amazed by the art piece behind you. What is it? What is it?
That's one of my work. I'm
Wow.
at the core, I'm a photographer,
Oh,
and I developed my own technique. For many years, I was in New York and Ronit as well. And I started as a photographer at the age of 12 and
wow.
never stopped with the camera and the printing process.
And where did you study photography?
By
Where?
myself.
Oh, by
I
yourself.
didn't study photography. I'm really autodidact. I did a lot of workshops with like different photographers, but I really like taught myself
Amazing.
playing. I think being creative is about playing, so we're continuing
Mhm.
even
Right.
in
Anyway, it's
different,
beautiful.
Now they play together.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I really think
sure.
it's really amazing. So we'll go back to Tzili's question.
By the way, Elinor, she's also a video artist, and she did
Yeah.
very long videos that I showed on the screens.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
beautiful.
That's a video still from a work that was commissioned at the time and that was shown in Times Square, in the old building of the New York Times, where the New York Times was. And it was a video work that was about the 7 colors of the visible spectrum, and that's one of the video stills. But
That's
it's all
amazing.
about light and time, and whether it's in photography or video, that was like a lot of my work is always about that, about telling stories in different ways and different perspectives. And
You're still telling stories.
exactly,
We'll
Sure,
get
it's
to
all-
it.
yeah.
No,
Same with
in different
time and space
No.
and words.
yes.
Right.
and
So,
Ronit is a director.
theater director?
Theater director. Yeah, I moved to New York to study directing, and I went to the Actor Studio Drama School
Okay.
20 years ago.
Okay,
And then
you still have it.
And
Right.
I invited
and
Ronit.
I did like Chan. Tzili carved my way. No, then I did like off, left theater, I call it. Off, left. And then, yeah, Tzili invited me to come visit the 14th Street Y when she was getting involved, and I gave birth that night to my
Wow.
second child, so I didn't come.
Oh,
And I remembered to write Tzili and Basmat to apologize that probably I won't make it.
She says she's like
No, I remember.
No, I went to another thing with Celia, and I had been on TV and it was like, I'm coming. I said to Celia, I'm coming. Almost.
So the art scenery in Israel satisfies you because you both look like you're very curious and
But let them
wide range.
But wait a second. Let them
Finish our story.
to how
Okay.
they got together, what they did, because they really started a whole new thing.
No, so just to finish the story, so Tzili invited me to the Y. It took me a few months later. I came and was invited to join Laba, a laboratory for Jewish culture, and that like carved my way to become the artistic director of Laba and the arts and culture department and create plays. And I did a children's play, actually an adaptation of Simlat Shabbat Shel Hanale,
Wow.
Shabbat dress, but we call it the Moonlit dress. And
Who
a
grew
good
up on this?
Right, me too. So I wanted it to be in English for my kids. Like I didn't want to have Dora the Explorer on crack children's theater, which was all like screaming. I wanted to have something that was beautiful, and we translated it with Yoav Gal. We made a whole production, and our common friend Adi Zroni
You
connected.
know her.
Adi was Hanale, in the first production. And she thought we should do an adaptation of a children's book that Elinor wrote in Israel. We never met in New York, but Adi connected us.
Yeah, we never met while both living in New York. But in 2009, I came and lived in Tel Aviv.
Oh,
And having on the go, you know, like 3 kids in 3 years, I was like, I can't do the physical stuff
oh,
that I
very
used to.
productive. My God,
Yeah.
3 kids in 3 years. Because
3 years.
I
3 days.
have them 6 years, 5 years apart, and 15 years apart.
It's much smarter, but you know, some people
Depends
are
when you start.
Oh, I
Depends
started
when-
very early. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Thirdly.
So then you met in Tel Aviv?
But Elinor
No,
wrote,
I came to New York to meet Ronit on one of the
Spring
projects,
Fair,
and
yeah.
from a coffee, it ended up being a 24-hour thing.
Take a date.
Yes.
but take
And
us straight
we-
to the festival in Haifa where you did the first show, where you won.
So what happened is that Ronit, we stayed in touch after that, and the original project that we thought to adapt never happened, or it never happened the way we thought like it could go. But Ronit at one point with the corona, like decided to come back to Israel. And I had a few shows that got postponed, canceled, who knows. And Ronit said, we decided to stay here a year. So I said, okay, if you're stuck like me here, then let's do something.
Mhm.
And in 4 days, you have a call kore for a children's theater festival in Haifa. What shall we do? And I said, I have a book that came out a year before that went in all the schools. It became platinum book. It was with the PJ library also after. And let's try. Like we can do the call kore and do an adaptation of it.
What was the book?
It's called The Magical Letter. And it's about a child who writes his first letter to his mother. It's the first time he expresses himself basically like with words, and he writes on a white page that becomes something magical. You don't know what he writes, but he gives it to his mother, and her heart, you know, opens up, and she decides to give that letter to someone else the next day who is in need, like she was. And that letter basically goes from one person to the next, and every time opens the heart of the person that has it until the very end, when a child who is in need gets the letter into his own hands and realizes it's the letter that he wrote.
Ah,
And the letter helps him overcome his anguish.
Exactly. And he realizes the power of the words and, you know, the power that he can have with the words. And we did an adaptation that was half stage, half video.
With the images from the book that are Elinor's photography also.
Yeah. And I did all the video and everything, and we won.
that's wonderful. So you submitted the play with a video?
Yes, no. We submitted the play with the idea that would be half
Video
stage.
was part of the scenery.
Okay.
You do like a 5-minute presentation.
Not
which
even at
was,
first.
well,
We
it was
send the call
off-air.
kore, which is like
Okay.
writing. Then we got this. Then we're like, okay, like next stage, we need to present 5 minutes. So we did 5 minutes, and we had no idea what we were doing.
So the intent, when I think about it, is to what extent words can really help us,
Yes.
or children, right?
And also about reaching out, about not being afraid of reaching out, about not being afraid of opening your heart, your feelings, giving empathy.
You know, I know it's funny, but I have 3 grandchildren, right? So when you ask him, I was cool, sababa, great, that's it. I was whatever, sababa, great. They are reluctant to really, you have to really
Push hard.
Like I ask them what you didn't like today. And then sometimes they do tell something, but this is a very important book and a very important play. And
after we would do workshops also with the kids where they wrote letters, and it could be an image, it could be words, you know, that they closed, and we would mail them or they would take them to their parents, you know, really to bring back paper and writing and letters, because
it's very
many today are not there.
Yeah.
So what is the process of adapting, in this case, from a book to a play? I mean,
I was thinking when Elinor was talking that even in the magical letter, but also the new play that we wanted to share, Say My Name. Actually, I think we very much connect on the themes, and we're also very open to
another play.
They have
yeah.
Right.
Let's jump to the whole new theater thing. They founded a new little theater, a new group, and they write the material and they present the material and they direct and design. So now you can go back to your
And we bring, after the children play, which won prizes for the best play and the best video, everyone asked us, what are you going to do next for kids? And we said, not necessarily. Ronit and I met many times, and we both ended up bringing books that inspired us to think about life, or, you know, the meaning of life, and or death. And I brought Jean-Paul Sartre, Behind Closed Doors, and she brought a book by Eagleman called Some, about 40 versions of what the afterlife could be. And from there, we developed an immersive play that's called Say My Name, where people come in, they don't know where they're going, the door's closed, and suddenly they realize they've stepped on the other side of their life. And there are other
This is the play, right? This is the play.
Okay, it's immersive, it's very interactive. It's can be very funny and not so funny, but it's really about bringing questions about, like, who remembers you? Who do you remember? Who touched you in your life? What do you want
to be remembered for?
Yeah.
And by whom? And
it's
we
also how you want to be remembered?
Also
how you want to be
because then it makes you active in your life right now. You know?
Is it looking for alternative life also?
No, it's it's really more about, you know, taking a moment to ask questions about your own life and what you leave behind and the people that touch you. And we did a proposal, and luckily we got Mifal HaPies and Keren Tarbut, and we're like,
two grants, like two funding in Israel that you can receive for new work.
Right.
So we had, you know, it's like chicken and egg. You have like,
Now
you have the idea, but then you have a deadline, then you have to do it. But then it was October 7th and everything kind of froze. And also asking deep personal questions about memory and love and death.
Very, very sensitive time to
and
come with
Say
it.
My Name now, it's very
yeah, right.
Very
we waited a long time before, like, you know, actually doing
diving back. And also we were really busy volunteering, and, you know, like after the October 7th, everybody engaged a few months to really do something here. You know, there was a lot of need, and the children to balance life and flow and support.
So what did you do? What did you do when you volunteered?
I volunteered for an organization called One Heart, Lev Echad, who basically, there's the main branch that supports the families of the hostages and does all the activism work to get support and kind of some kind of recognition and connection and pressure on the government to do something to release the hostages. But then Lev Echad really decided to take care of the families in all the other ways, whether it was taking care of rent or finding psychological help or finding a hairdresser for a dog that had survived the attacks and smelled like fire in the hotel room, or finding schooling for the kids, like really trying to envelope the families 360 in anything they might need. The beginning, the first few weeks was really trying to figure out even who are the families and who's connected to who, the grandmother, the aunt, the cousin. So that was really where I went every day. We worked, gave them space here in Non Ministo, and it was a huge team of people who created a whole system to support hundreds of people who were the families of the hostages.
I was thinking, you cooked?
Please.
For the families of the hostages, and we continue to this day, and it's a small group of mothers, you know, who started in the neighborhood, and now there's like hundreds of people, and it continues to this day because it's about you know, showing that we're still thinking about them and reaching out and like giving
some to feel that people don't really care. But you know, you gave me an idea. I'm sorry if I'm off. But this idea of letters or about, you know, memories that you are talking about, I know it's very difficult, but I think it will be extremely helpful for some of the wounded soldiers, you know, to go and take this play And also you can do it when you are 20 or 21 or 22, and a lot of those soldiers who are still in rehabilitation, in shikum.
Not even soldiers, my family and other people came who are, as part of the army. It's their job. It's not like just, they're not young, they're nothing. They've really been, in the army the whole last year. And my cousin said, I'm going to send it to my friends because it's actually therapeutic for a
Very
moment.
much. Yeah, it sounds to me amazing.
About the meaning of life, to think about who are the people who love you, to just be able to focus even in this hard time on the positives around you. And
but they still probably will have to go through the journey of looking what they lost, and from that to come out with what can we gain or what can we keep, from who we are. And it's amazing. I think it can be wonderful. The whole idea is amazing.
There are many families that they're still losing and they don't know what the end of how
but
much
they have to hang on.
So it has so many directions and so many fronts to deal with.
Right.
Yeah. But tell us a little bit about the little theater in the southern part of Tel Aviv.
Where is it actually?
There used to be, it's a Tziya, corner of Herzl. It's South Tel Aviv. Opposite, there's this beautiful pink church, in the botanical garden. And across from it, there used to be a street that was all the fishmongers of Tel Aviv, Yafo. The Tziya, the Tziya street. Used to be
it's near Bloomfield.
All the fish.
It's near Bloomfield.
Yep.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
And at the corner was a building, which used to be the stock exchange of fish. I don't know, the wholesale fish market, stock exchange. And that space was taken over by two architects. It was empty for many years, and they made it into this cooperative of different activities, galleries,
lecture, metadika, like they wanted to bring under the same roof a collective of creatives that were dealing with sustainability, education, history, and arts. And
we had this play. No, we had this play, and the play doesn't fit into proscenium theater. Really, the vision is that the audience moves around. It has a certain vibe. Like, we didn't find a space that was right for it. Definitely not an acting theater in Tel Aviv. And we were looking for a space. So again, we saw the space. We thought it was amazing for our play, and it was amazing for any other kind of experience, performance, music. And we decided to take the plunge. It's called The Dive, which is inspired a bit from dive bars in New York, but also because there used to be actually fish pools in the basement. It's the bottom of this whole building complex. There were fish scales on the floor when we took it over.
Yeah.
It was really, and it has these 6 cement kind of islands, which used to have the aquarium on them with the fish. Remember the carp, but big ones. Because they were actually
going to serve it on Rosh Hashanah. The fish. I know, they kill them. I buy it the ground. I buy the ground
of America,
and then I cook it.
Well, the old days of Tel Aviv, of Israel, they used to grow them in a little pool in the store, and then the women used to come and say, "I want this one." They used to pull him and
they put it in the bathtub.
At home, they used to.
When we were small, the Pinkas, there was the pool. You would choose them. He would take it out, bring the hammer, kill it.
Girls, how many audience can come to the theater? It's a small group of audience, right?
For our show, it's temporarily. I mean, for our show, we wanted to keep it intimate also because of the experience. So it's about 65 people, 70 people. Eventually, there's still some work to be done, to really build a bigger staircase, and once we have.
And your intention
that, and then you can do 150, but the idea was really to open a place that was bringing, of course, Say My Name, but also other artists and creatives that had ideas that didn't necessarily fit in the regular, theater
box. It sounds a little bit like a workshop. right? It's like you're
Or
coming to an
maybe like the East Village and the old.
Interactive theater is
Yeah.
not a workshop.
Maybe like
It's
more
more
like La
like, you
Mama,
know,
La
what-
Mama at the beginning, or La Mama.
the shed, you know, or places like that that are
The
big.
shed we went.
I
Like, yes, we're
wish,
still
you
thinking
know,
it.
in the bigger, we're much like smaller, but with the idea that, you know, a creative space can be this, but it also can be that, especially when you don't have necessarily a stage. And
The space has character as opposed to a black box, right? Where it kind of vanishes and the art form is at the center. Our space has character. Like if you think about the Armory in New York, you can't make the Armory vanish. It's one of the actors in the
Yeah.
play. So the dive is the
They
same.
used to do plays on ships, on a ship, right? And then in each part of the ship, there were groups of actors, right? And
Yeah.
the audience went from one space to another, and it was very interactive, but it was not a workshop.
so
Yeah.
we're not,
Interactive, though.
The thing
We're
is, the
but-
the place itself, if it's not a regular theater, which is really neutral, and you go in and the focus is on stage, so the place itself plays a big role
Right.
in the whole environment.
Yes, it's a character.
And it makes the whole idea very different. Years ago in New York, you had so many places and so many different.
Yes.
Oh.
It was
I
so
think
So
they
one
neglected
thing,
it.
the place is very raw, and I think, you know, like I know, for example, as an artist, I cannot be in a pristine place to create. So suddenly you arrive in this place that's very industrial, that's
feeds you. It really
perfect,
fuels
and
you to create something. Yeah.
yeah,
You know, it did start. I think I don't hear about it anymore. But really, even Brecht was trying to destroy or shut down this ritual of stage audience, right? And then it started all over New York trying to break this pattern of stage. Everything is up and there, and I sit here and I watch you. And they started to find different form of,
I think it's even
and
more
this is one of
Gotovsky.
them. What?
I think it's even more Gotovsky. It's like take it one step further, that you're a witness of an action happening in space. It's not even a
Right.
performance. It's like,
But I don't see it much now. It's like
no,
maybe
because it's expensive and people need to be commercial and mainstream, and they don't take.
right.
When real estate prices go up, the art has much less space to experiment.
So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Yes. So tell me if I go back to my question before, if you can briefly tell me what is the process of adapting? I talk about adaptation. Let's say in your case, from a book to a
Say
play.
My Name, like we got inspired, you know, by those two books, for example, with the idea of an afterlife where you're stuck in one space, like in behind closed doors, and have to witness really like who you are and what you did in your life. So that was like the inspiration, and some like there were like different stories that really grabbed our imagination. And then it was about a lot of talking. First of all, like we didn't start talking, but we didn't start writing. I mean, we met with a lot of coffee, sometimes wine
But
too.
you see, but when I read your book, you know, it's not as concrete as to see it in a play or a film or a video.
I think the magical
even the colors are, you know, you tell me red in the book, I see my own red, whatever. But once it's red on the stage, it's a red. That's it. There is no.
That's why staged readings are actually really fun, because you don't have to fight with the vision of the director. You know, when you have a staged reading,
right,
it's really good because in your mind you build the world and the actors are voice. And then when you see a play, you might have issues. No, I think the magical letter, the narrative was very clear. Kind of the story was from, we had like A to B, B to C. Now in it, we had to hanfasha in English.
Yeah,
like
the magic
to life, the letter.
I should know it, but
the magical letter, the book is told from the point of view of a white page. The white page, which is nothing, describes how it became something special with the words of the kids, and
how it gets transitioned.
He's the narrator of the story.
Right.
So we
there
wanted
there was something on the white page, or it was a white page,
Something,
blank,
we
blank.
don't-
it
blank.
starts bland and then it becomes something once the child puts his words onto it. So that is something that we wanted to keep in the play because there's something very strong about being so simple but so powerful once you put intention on it.
So we made the page into a character, and actually in the first adaptation, the actor was holding a white page. And then after we got into the festival and we had to develop it and we hired an actor to think with us, he's like, I can't stand there for 15 minutes holding a white page. So we understood that if he's dressed in white and telling the story, it's enough. He doesn't need to hold a white page.
Right.
And like that, step by step, we wanted to incorporate the video and the magic of these characters and really have him only be the narrator and the most real character, even though then we decided to add another actor to be a few characters. So it's step by step. Then we needed more text because the book is very minimalist, but when you have characters on stage, they need to talk to each other. So we started to imagine this conversation and like grow the text. So it's really, then we added music. Music is like another dialogue. Avishai Cohen.
Oh, wow. We admire him at home.
Right.
He's our idol. And what are they? Kultum. My husband adores him. He always schlepped me to when he's in, wow.
Shai wrote the music, so that's a whole nother character.
He's amazing.
That's one of the things that was actually interesting in Corona. We're all like stuck with like everything stopped, and us as artists, like we have this fire inside, like we need to create. Like that's part of, and it was amazing. Exactly, to all work together.
Studio.
Tell me something. Did you think of becoming mainstream and for example, joining the Orna Porat theater, children theater?
I don't.
No.
I don't. See it. I know the girls for many years. I don't see it. No way. And it's better this way because they're very creative.
So how you're going to get your audience?
Tzipi, you'll appreciate it, but after the play won and everything, a very main stage director person was like, let's have coffee. I just want to give you some notes. Okay. An older director.
Maestro.
The magical letter. After we won first prize and we won for the video and we won for the set design, she thought that she needed to give us some eights,
Yeah,
and
maestro.
like, I think that you should change the music.
It's too quiet.
Change the music. It's all the time the same. And I think you should add some things that are uplifting for the kids.
Very specific.
Mash. And
I don't allow my student to talk this way. The most they can say is, I wish that ever, right? But not, I think. Who cares?
And it's not only that, but that's the state of mind because you want to have it to the main, to bring it to the same stage, to the same audience, to bring more audiences. So you lose the whole original way. But soon is Yom Kippur, and you say my name, and it's like a judgment day. And basically, you're talking about a world that none of us know anything, and we're all either afraid of it or excited.
I am not.
Or curious about it. And everybody's going on its own journey. The fact that you put a journey of your own, you can just give them a hand, come and do your crossing, But it is a judgment day in a way. So it's
not for me. You know that in my will, it's written on my grave. It's going to be written. Because she keeps going.
Yeah, but you never judge yourself. You never judge yourself for anything.
Oh, come on! I get up every morning and I ask, and what if I'm wrong? Come on, yours is not true. Anyway, I have to tell you something. Just remind me something. I don't know why. I read a little bit. You have a video or something, a painting of a child that you took the picture from the back?
I did, yes.
What is it?
Again, I always looked at my kids looking at the window.
Do you have the book?
which
Isn't it
and
like the
you know,
magical
they're
letter from
looking
the-
like to the horizon, and I always like thought like, what kind of horizon are we giving them?
But you did shoot them from the back, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see their face, right?
Right.
That makes you wonder even more what they're thinking about.
Yes.
What's going on their mind?
My favorite
Because it's from the
position
back, right?
of people, the back.
Very powerful.
Paintings and the
Yeah, it's
photograph.
very powerful because you do want to connect to the thoughts. You know, even in this piece behind you, I'm trying to break it apart and see like different images, especially on the left side of the. It's very interesting what each one of us look and what's happening in our.
I actually, when I look at it now that we're on Zoom, I'm actually imagining the flow. Like I'm missing the movement. You know, I look at it and I feel
Yes.
like it's
Like
one
it's-
Lot of movement.
it's a two piece, like we don't see it with the video.
Right. Oh, you have other pieces.
Work together, and a lot of my work has always been about movement and how do you, in the confine of the negative, which we don't have anymore, but at the time, like how do you bring movement and the sensation of time in the confine of a negative?
So where do you look for images for your video? Look, the images for your videos. That was a video? Ah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
a piece from the video.
oh,
So it's a video still from the video, but also a lot of my photography like is based on the same technique, but I did
which is like light moving,
Yeah.
right? Like
it's
capturing
all
light
done in the
moving.
dark, one shot, lights moving, and it's very physical, and it's about bringing like the energy, and then yes.
so are you interested?
No, but it's what is interesting is that even now, you know, with the play Say My Name, for example, like it's broken into like originally it was even supposed to be in different rooms.
Right.
Again, because like you never have the full.
I mean,
pieces
originally we
of a
wrote
story.
6 plays
Yeah.
that, you know, kind of meet each other. Like you can follow each character and that's a whole play. Then we
No, I
had to,
really envy you. I really envy you. I saw day before yesterday the new Coppola film.
mixed reviews, no?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I just read the reviews in Haaretz.
No, come on. You should go and see
No, I
it.
said mixed.
Whatever it does, we should see. But
Exactly.
it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. The reason why I bring it up is because I was watching the film, which is really a fantasy of a different city, different people, different arrangement, architecture. And this piece that I see behind you very much evoke the same kind of emotions and thoughts. You should go and see the film. It's very inspiring. It can confuse you and everything, confuse me, but it's very inspiring because there is some kind of a stream of emotions that goes through this piece that I see behind you, and it also happens in the film. I think you should go before it's out because people don't come and see it. It was really a shame. The theater was really almost empty.
Wow.
Right. I was very upset.
Yes,
But
good.
yeah. So I just wonder because I have nothing to do with this art form, unfortunately. Therefore, I'm jealous. When you start, is there something, so you're like a question you're asking yourself or a what if?
In the
Yeah, when
photography
you start
video,
a story.
that was a commission project that I did like for the New York Times. I mean, the New York Times moved and like a different like company like took it over, and they wanted the piece in the lobby. So I came.
They're not specific. They didn't say what they want.
No, I always work like that. I came and I saw the place, and there was like so much history, you know, because it was the New York Times like for 100 years there, that I was like, wow, like how do I bring that sense of history? And there was no window in that lobby.
No gallery. Tzili has a gallery with no window. Just in the front.
But, I sat at my studio at the time that had the window, and I sat for many long hours in front of the window and looking at the New York, and I would often like work at night and like stay in the morning, and I looked at the same landscape basically not moving,
Mhm.
but yet changing through the changes of the, you know, the light and the time. And then I decided like to do the piece about that, like how, giving the sensation of time through the changes of the
Is it
colors.
still in their, did they take it with you? Ah, the other company, not the New York Times.
Yeah.
only in the lobby.
What's
And is it-
next?
I will see
work-
what
What is it? Yeah, I want to see it.
No, they are between them. It's a whole world. Yeah. So what's next?
We also live on the same street. Like
Oh,
she's
really? In Tel Aviv? Wow.
Yeah.
I envy you.
Hulda, she's number 1. I'm Hulda Shesh.
No, everyone's
What
gonna-
street?
Yeah, come visit us. Sorry.
What
Somewhere
street? Did you say
next
fruit?
next to
No,
Gretz.
no.
I heard fruit because it's near Square
It's better than
No,
Okay.
they're not profitable.
kind of Hemmung. You know that word? Like in German, kind of Hemmung. So, like somewhere next to
Girls, what
Gretz.
are you
No,
working
what's
on
next is
now?
like making a dive, a real
Full of
place
content.
full of content and you know, creative endeavors. And
I think it's what Tzili said a bit more, the idea of workshops. So really creating the space for residencies and for artists to develop site-specific work there, whether it's dance, music, interdisciplinary, which usually really
Right.
is more
But do you
interesting.
think that if it's in this table, each discipline you want to tell a different story or the same story in a specific?
They all participate in the same story. Each one gives his part to the whole dish.
Is it?
That's the beauty of the
Dive? You're asking about like what is our vision of the story of the space, or
I
Oh,
think
okay.
that one, you know, like you asked me about this particular project, for example, I came, another artist would have done like a completely like different
course.
story
This
out
is
of it.
something
I think
else.
that-
What he does, it's a project of video art for a specific space. What they do
Yes,
now,
but-
it's a
But a
collaboration.
dive is a specific space and has its own character. So like, you know, I hope that any artist that comes and does a residency
They
or
have their
does
own, yeah.
an idea will have to adapt and like, you know, find what inspires them and how they connect to the
I would
space.
like a Rashomon.
Yeah.
Rashomon.
Yeah.
Rashomon?
we are collaborating already with another theater ensemble called Notzar. We did a collaboration with
Yeah,
them.
it's already established.
Right. So and Itzik Julius is their artistic director, and he's going to do his new piece there. And then Ensemble Team, which was Rina's ensemble, and she kind of gave it to Tzvi Sar. They're going to do also a presentation of their new play there, Maya Rad Yas'ur. We're
There
going to
is
start
one of what is name it?
Tzvi.
Yeah, but also the famous guy who had a theater in Jerusalem and then his daughter now opened a space on his name. Nitai.
So it's not far from us. It's in Bet Tepel, next
Right.
to Alembika, on the same floor.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the theater is, yeah.
I wanna
Yeah, I mean, for this place, I mean, it's what we said before. It's a crazy place, but there's a lot of things happening and very
Yes.
good culture,
Yes.
very good art, and
very good
even
vibes. I was
artists.
there. It's really very good vibes. Right.
You know, everybody told us we're crazy to start a new endeavor, but
That's a good way to start. That's a
right,
good
we did
Wonderful.
start.
we had a
Listen, I do hope that you keep your collaboration for years and years to
They
come.
will, they will.
And always get Avishai Cohen.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
and
want him to
hopefully,
come to a dive.
Others should
a
come.
Laba Yafo there, so
Yeah.
we'll be like closing another circle city, like Laba Yafo have
It's
the dive.
amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Girls, thank
It
you.
was really very enlightening.
Keep going. It's
You
fascinating.
too. You're also a good duo.
Yeah.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
So,
Take care of yourself in the next few days.
Yeah.
it may be a boring year. Boring.
Yeah. I was bored.
But it's
Yeah.
like instead of
Corona
Shnat, instead of Shnat
I
Tashma,
agree.
Shnat Tashma. So maybe somebody will
Yeah.
hear.
Right. How many kids you have between you two?
3 and 3.
Ah, okay.
Thanks.
True,
Keep going,
true,
keep going.
true.
Okay.
Now-
Wonderful.
See you soon,
Thank you so
girls.
much, Shana
Bye.
Tova.
See you,
Come
When
everybody.
are
we
you
don't need to
coming?
bring to the shrink.
Come over.
Bye.